Welcome back. Now let's get to a subject that's apparently gone viral on social media today, and it also involves yours truly. Last night I was in attendance at the Knicks-Lakers game, sitting courtside, where during a timeout, I believe it was in the third quarter, I was confronted by none other than LeBron James himself. LeBron had some choice words for me in regards to comments I've made prior about him in regards to his son, Bronny James. Before I get any further, let me just put to bed a couple of things that have been reported that are false. People was talking about LeBron called me out my name, or I saw somebody said he called me a bitch. Somebody said he called me a punk and all this. None of that is true. He was fiery. He approached me during the game and he said, "Stop effing with my son. That's my effing son. Stop effing with my son." I said, "What? Nah, man, straight up, man to man. Real talk. Stop effing with my son." And I saw how furious he was. And I said, "We can talk about it later." "Nah, F that. Stop effing with my son. That's my son. That's my son." I said, "All right, dog. Fine." And he walked away. That's all he said. I knew what he was talking about. I've spoken about this before. Matter of fact, I heard that not many, not all, but a few players were upset at me about that. I think one player in particular was Draymond Green, who I haven't spoken to since and has no desire to speak to me primarily because of this, I suppose. And I found out the way that I found out, which was last night while I was at the game. I was a guest of Ari Emanuel, owner of William Morris Endeavor, founder of William Morris Endeavor, rather. Founder of Endeavor, I'm sorry, before they merged with William Morris. And I was a guest of his, sitting at the game with him and Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was sitting courtside, and the next thing you know, out of the blue, LeBron came in my face. Obviously, since he brought up his son, he was piggybacking off of what I had said weeks ago. And what I had said weeks ago is that when Bronny James was struggling, and I threw out some stats and stuff like that, and I said he's not ready. And then I came on this podcast and I reiterated that point. Clearly, it was something that was on LeBron James' mind that he was aching to confront me about. And so it happened the way that it happened. Now, before I get into anything else, let me say that LeBron's agent, who is Rich Paul, his boy, has my number. Maverick Carter, who's universally respected and is a big player in the industry these days, he has my number. It's very easy for LeBron James to have called me. It's very easy for one of them to have called me and to say, "LeBron wants to see you. He wants to talk to you face to face, man to man." That's not what happened. Last night at the Lakers game happened. Now I get, and people have said to me today that I'm looking pretty damn sad. I'll fess up, I am. Because something like that is not something that should make any of us comfortable. I didn't anticipate it. I don't know why I didn't anticipate it. But I'm not here to blame LeBron James. That wasn't a basketball player talking to me last night. That was a dad. He rolled up on me as a father. That's what he did. That was not a basketball player talking to me. We talk about LeBron James all the time. Practically everybody does. That's not what LeBron James does. So for him to confront me obviously it was something that he was incredibly passionate about, put off about, and felt necessary to confront me about. And what better motivation could there be than to be protective of his son? I understand it. I respect it as a parent. I'm a father of 2 daughters. And in all honesty, I couldn't definitively tell you that if I were LeBron James, I would not have done the same thing. I would hope that I would not have. I would hope that I would have picked up the phone and called the person instead, or got arranged to see that person face to face instead, rather than walking up to me in the middle of a game, courtside. That was not the end of the game. That was not the beginning of the game. That was in the middle of the game that this happened. But that's what happened. And there's really not much you can do about it. I have a lot to say about it, but I wanted to address a couple of things. Number one, because I saw this tweet from Kevin Love. He was responding to my tweet. My tweet was, I had no intentions of talking about it. And the reason I had no intentions of talking about it is because that's what men do. You handle it privately if you can. I didn't want to address it. As I tweeted here, I wouldn't have either had it not gone viral. But it did go viral because when I got up, my social media person informed me that it was over 15 million views. And it had gone viral. It was number one. It was the number one sports story going. And regardless of everybody wanting to walk around acting like they don't have bosses, I don't deny the fact that I have bosses. I work for ESPN, and ESPN called me this morning. They said, what you mean you ain't talking about it? You most certainly have to talk about it. This directly involves you. And LeBron James is the biggest story in the country right now in sports. There's no way for you to escape it. Talk about it. You got your platform. Do what you got to do. I said, fine. Well, when I tweeted out to let everybody know that I will be talking about it, Kevin Love, LeBron's former teammate in Cleveland, throws out this tweet. You have no choice, laugh out loud. Because it went viral, laugh out loud. You didn't want to have to, laugh out loud. You wouldn't have, laugh out loud. Hold that tweet up. Let's go over the list. And I like Kevin Love. I'm very fond of him. All right? I have nothing negative to say. I have no choice because of what I just told you about my bosses, Kevin. Because it went viral, Kevin, which I just explained. I didn't want to. Why would I want to? I take no pleasure in something like this. And I guess it's the implication that, and I wouldn't have, laugh out loud on all of those things. You see, stuff like that dilutes the seriousness of the discussion. So let me explain this to Kevin Love in simplest terms. First Take has been the #1 morning show for 13 consecutive years. And on this particular morning, it's the day after I was in the news for a lucrative contract extension. So if I said that I didn't have any intentions of doing it, I don't have to lie. And I'm not starving for ratings. And respectfully, Kevin, you should know that I mean what I say. I don't have to lie. So I'll just leave it at that. Outside of that, feel free to support your boy. Let me go back to me and LeBron James. Ladies and gentlemen, any alluding to Bronny James in this is either accidental or just a reference point to articulate me and LeBron James, because I'm not here to talk about Bronny James. Bronny James, by all accounts, is a wonderful kid.